Sit down for a moment. Pull your chair closer. Leave the noise of the world behind. And listen to what a woman who has seen the seasons change 87 times has to tell you. What I'm going to share today isn't something you'll find in fashion magazines or in the advice of 20-year-old influencers who barely know what it means to build a life, weather storms, and emerge with their heads held high. They talk about lipstick shades or the cut of a dress to catch a fleeting glance. I am here to talk about what happens in a man's mind and spirit long before a single piece of clothing touches the floor. There is a secret that the women of my generation mastered, but it seems to have been lost in the noise of this rushed and superficial world. If you want to drive a man truly wild for you, if you want him to desire you with an intensity that borders on reverence, you must understand that the game was never physical. The game is, and always will be, psychological. A man's desire is born in his eyes, yes, but it takes deep root in what he feels he cannot control in you. I watch this garden a lot. The flowers here don't struggle to be beautiful for the bees. They simply bloom in their own nature, and the bees travel miles to find them. With men, the dynamic is exactly the same, especially when we reach a certain age. The biggest mistake I see women your age make is immediate emotional surrender out of fear of being alone. They think that by being extremely helpful, available, and good partners right away, they are securing a place in his heart. They are dead wrong. They are securing boredom and a comfort zone. To drive a man crazy, you must master the art of selective detachment. It's that magnetic feeling that, although you are there present, sharing the same air as him, a vital part of your soul belongs only to you. It's a secret garden where he doesn't have the key yet. This is what I always do. Before any physical intimacy, I establish an invisible barrier of mystery and self-sufficiency. I look into his eyes not with the neediness of someone seeking approval, but with the authority of someone who has lived long enough to know that the only approval that matters is her own. Many women come to me and ask what the true secret of seduction is in maturity. I answer with a single word: scarcity. But I'm not talking about disappearing or playing childish games like not answering the phone. I'm talking about the scarcity of validation. A man becomes addicted to the woman who does not place him at the center of her universe. When you walk into a room and he senses, through your posture, that you are the prize to be won and not the other way around, the chemistry between you changes instantly. Before the clothes fall, what must fall is his absolute certainty that he already owns you entirely. Leave him in doubt. Use the power of silence to your advantage. Silence is a majestic tool that most people are terrified to use because it exposes their own insecurity. Instead of filling every second with nervous words, look at him and give a slight corner-of-the-mouth smile, as if you knew a truth about him that he hasn't even discovered himself. This creates an intellectual and erotic tension that physical touch by itself could never replicate. You need to understand the psychology of urgency and the hunt. Men, regardless of age, possess a hunting instinct that never dies. It only sleeps. If he feels that you are a totally mapped out, predictable, and too safe territory, he loses vital interest. But if he feels there are layers to you, that there is an intellectual and emotional depth that he would need a lifetime to explore, he becomes obsessed. I always say that true seduction begins in the intellect and ends in the soul. Before you get to the bedroom, he needs to feel that you are the ultimate authority in your own life. Do not ask permission to shine. Do not apologize for having strong opinions or for having a history. This emotional independence is the greatest aphrodisiac there is for a man worth having. A man of value goes crazy for a woman he perceives he could lose at any moment if he lets his guard down or stops being exceptional for her. Now pay attention, because this is the part nobody tells you openly. Regret is a bitter motivator, but anticipation is the purest fuel of desire. When I say I always do this before sex, I'm referring to the deliberate creation of an atmosphere of exclusivity and value. Make him feel that being in your presence is a rare privilege, not a Sunday habit. Old age has taught me that time is the only currency we cannot recover. If you give your time and intimacy cheaply or in a rush, he will treat you exactly like something disposable. But if you position yourself with the dignity of a woman who knows every inch of her worth, he will treat you with the deference reserved for a queen. It's about posture, a lower tone of voice, the absolute calm of someone who is in no hurry for anything. Haste reeks of desperation. The woman who moves with calm, who speaks with calculated pauses, and who observes more than she talks. This woman dominates any man without having to lift a finger. Often society tries to convince us that solitude at our age is a defeat. What nonsense. I learned that the peace that comes from solitude is what makes me truly magnetic. When you are at peace with yourself, you stop projecting neediness, and nothing, absolutely nothing, repels a man more than the scent of neediness. When he realizes that you don't need him to be happy, but that you chose his company for that night, his ego is provoked. He will fight to be the reason for your joy. He will strive to be invited into your private world. Before the clothes fall, make sure he is mentally on his knees, admiring the strong, experienced, and enigmatic woman you have become. This isn't about cheap manipulation. It's about self-respect elevated to the level of art. The legacy we leave in our encounters is not based on perfect skin, which time inevitably transforms, just like the petals of these flowers that fall in autumn to nourish the earth. The legacy is based on how we made the other person feel about themselves in our presence. If you make him feel that by your side he is more of a man, stronger and more capable, but that he must earn that privilege every day through merit, he will never, under any circumstances, want to leave your side. Male desire is fueled by constant challenge. Never let the challenge die under the weight of routine. Even after years, keep that part of you that is wild, that is untamable, and that belongs only to the wind. I see so many wonderful women suffering because they don't get the attention they desire. I look at them, and I feel an immense urge to say, stop chasing what you want. What you chase tends to run away from you. Become the center of gravity. Cultivate your own mysteries, your friendships, your spirituality, your career. When you are radiant and fulfilled with your own existence, men are drawn to your light like sailors to a lighthouse on a stormy night. And when he is there, before any step toward intimacy, use the power of your gaze. Do not look away. Look at him as if you were reading the most hidden pages of the book of his life. Leave him a little uncomfortable in an electrifying way. This is authority. This is feminine power in its purest form. Remember always, the mind is the greatest stage for seduction. If you capture a man's imagination, his body will only be a natural and secondary surrender. Tell stories that don't end. Leave questions in the air. Be the woman he cannot decipher even on the 1000th date. It is this incessant search for your essence that will keep him crazy for you through the decades. Beauty may open a door, but it is your inner strength, your detachment, and your mystery that will keep him locked inside, wishing the night would never end. So before you think about anything else, think about the silent message you are sending with your simple presence. Are you someone who gives herself away out of fear, or someone who shares herself out of generosity? The difference between those two positions is what separates a forgettable encounter from an eternal obsession. Be the peace he seeks in a chaotic world, but also be the mystery he fears he can never solve. This is the true mastery of maturity. Look at me. I've lived nearly 90 years, and I can assure you with total clarity. What really holds a man is not what you take off your body, but what you keep inside your soul. Keep your dignity, keep your mystery, and above all, keep the absolute certainty that you are unique and unforgettable. Now take this wisdom with you. The garden of life is yours to bloom in, but only for those who know how to honor the rarity of each of your petals. Do not fear the silence, do not fear the distance, and above all, never doubt the overwhelming power you hold in your hands before you even say the first word.